Are you ready to be more, do more, and have more of the things that you want in your life? It all starts with feeling better. Welcome to Positively Creative You, the University of Ideas. And this is the kickoff to our 30-day Feel Better Reboot. I'm going to talk about what that is and what this book is. So glad you're here and doing this for yourself. Let's go through the book. Hello and welcome back. Again, the link is below for a digital kit. It's a galaxy-themed digital kit. Oh, it is absolutely free. It's on my Patreon page, which I'm using as my website for now. You don't have to be a patron to get it. You just have to go to the link and download. There's a black and white version and this beautiful galaxy version. There's a little bit of instruction in the digital kit, which I'll link below. Please go back and watch parts 1 and 2 so you understand who I am and what it is we're trying to do here. There's a few little snippets of information on how to do all these things that we're focusing on throughout whatever month it is you're doing this. Today, we've already talked about all of these. Sleep, eat, meditate, don't run away. Meditation is not painful. You can do it 1 or 2 minutes a day, 2 to 4 minutes a day. Change your life. Visualize. You do it every day anyway. We're just going to do it in a better way. Appreciation. What are your things you appreciate? What things make you glad? Let's talk about that. That's what this part is for. We talked about reading, cultivating your curiosity, and maybe reading some self-development books. We talked about eating better. We talked about moving more. We talked about upping your water intake. And self-care and kindness, how to improve that so that we have loads of positive energy so that we are ready to get our life in gear, to start doing stuff that makes our life look like the one we always planned to live, that makes our life look like in reality what we hope it would be someday. Today we're talking about the positive journal aspect of it. Now in an earlier video I mentioned I started doing Julia Cameron's morning pages from her book, The Artist's Way. Now that book was life-changing. No kidding. It absolutely changed my life. But that was early 90s and I have since learned a lot more. And when I go back and I read my morning pages, which I don't normally do, but for whatever reason I've done that a few times with this new knowledge, and I am not surprised that my life was in the crapper based on all the stuff I was focused on in those morning pages, because morning pages by definition are 3 full pages, I think, front and back. She's not real specific, but 3 full pages. And now they're called, not by her, but most people, and I hate this term, but you'll recognize it, a brain dump. Dump out everything in your brain, the stuff that's keeping you up at night, the stuff that's swirling around in your brain, dump it. 3 full pages, front, back, 3 full pages of journaling. Just get what's in your head out. And the idea was good, so that you can focus, so that stew is not in there swirling around. When I went back and I read my morning pages, because I've always kept a journal from the time I was a little kid. I've always kept a diary or a journal of some sort. But I did morning pages for almost 20 years. And when I went back to read them, so much negativity, so much focusing on what I don't want. I hate this. I don't like this. I can't stand this. This is bothering me. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I've since learned that what you focus on, you get more of. It's simple, basic math, and it's how our brains work. For example, if you have 2 lists, and there's a whole video on this, but if you have 2 lists, what to do in the kitchen, stuff that needs to be done in the backyard, and you only focus on the one list that's stuff to do in the kitchen, what's going to happen to all the stuff in the backyard? It's not going to get done, or it's going to get delegated, but nothing happens on that list because all your time and energy and focus is on the kitchen, right? And so we have this natural negativity bias. There'll be another video or more about that, but it's inborn. It's part of what kept us safe, is being afraid of what's around every corner. Like fight or flight kept us safe, kept us alive. We have a natural negativity bias, and 99.9% of people don't even know that. we gravitate toward the negative. Think about this. After work yesterday, when you came home from work yesterday or today, and you told your kids or your significant other or your dog about your day, what did you tell them? Let's just say you work at a doctor's office and 20 people came in to the office that day that you saw or that you had to deal with. One of them was a giant a-hole, just mean to everybody there. And isn't that the one that you talk about? Do you talk about the 19 nice people? Do you talk about the nice lady that said your haircut was cute and she really liked the new color? No, you don't. You focus on the one a-hole of the 20 people. That's our natural negativity bias. And I'm not saying be a Pollyanna and only always focus on the positive, but if that's how it works, and I know that it is, what you focus on, you get more of. And that's why you get what you worry about, because worry is focusing your attention. So positive journaling is what the rest of this book is about. Positive journaling only. It's not a brain dump. It's not a brain dump. Let me be clear. It's not a brain dump. It's a positive place for you to visualize on paper, to focus forward to your future on the things that you want. Period. Things that are going right now can go in here too, because there's always something going right. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I have a whole notebook that I made just like this. It's got different paper on it. It's way pretty. And when I'm having a bad day, and I do have bad days, shit goes sideways on me, and I have about no fuse. I'm getting better. The more stuff that I do, the more I meditate. Honestly, I am getting more and more patient as I grow older. I think maybe that's helping too, but I have very little patience, especially for myself, especially for mistakes and stupidity. No patience for that at all. And when I find that I'm having just one of those days or moments, I get that book out and I write down what's going right now. What's going right now. And I take a deep breath, or 5, because that always calms me down. We talked about that in another video too, just 5 deep breaths. Very deep breath in through the nose, hold for 4, exhale through the mouth deeply, hold for 4, 5 times. Calms your whole system down. So I do that, takes about a minute, and then I look around and I think, what's going right now? My parents, who are close to 80, are healthy. Today it's snowing and it's beautiful and I love it. And I'm home to enjoy it. And it's snowing outside and my heater is working beautifully and we are cozy and happy and healthy and safe. There's food in my refrigerator. My computer's working. I have beautiful, fairly new Apple products. There's always something going right and there's always something to appreciate. You just have to focus on it. You have to look for it, even when you're having a bad day. So the positive journal. What's going right now, if you need that. Even if you don't, it's always good to focus on those things. Because what you focus on, you get more of. And if you're focusing on things you appreciate and focusing on things that are going right, you get more of that. It's simple. It's simple. You'll hear a term used here a lot, FROCUS. I'm a big believer in focusing forward because that's the direction you're going and only on the things that you want. So FROCUS. Focus forward. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what happened 15 years ago. It doesn't matter what happened 20 minutes ago. Right now, forward. We'll talk more about that too, about getting to the bottom of things. And I want to understand how it happened. Maybe I can avoid it. And you can't avoid anything because you'll get more of it because you're focusing your time and energy on it. There is no bottom. There's no good answers to why someone abused you or someone lied to you or someone cheated on you. There are no good answers. One answer always leads to more questions and you never get to the bottom. And you're trying to untangle something that happened yesterday rather than focusing on the dream of today and your future tomorrow. It makes no sense to me to carry around a past. I watch hoarders now and again. And when I hear their stories that start out, well, where do you suppose this started? Well, 17 years ago, my husband was horrible to me. And now I'm a pig and I'm living in filth and I can't be bothered to pick up my fast food crap off the floor and I'm letting the dog shit in the living room. A lot of really good things happen to you since then. But people get locked into that past, that one bad thing, and that's their story, and that's their story, and that's their story. He hurt me, he abused me, blah, 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 blah. We've all been hurt. We've all had people lie to us or cheat on us, or we've all had stuff go sideways. The important thing is not to get locked into it. Let that fucking story go. For years, my own story, because it was told to me by my family, who meant no malice, they were fed the same bullshit. Here's the story. Here's what I now know to be a total bullshit story. I come from a long line of depressive people. It runs in our family. It's genetic. I have no choice. You know, if I could choose, I wouldn't choose to be depressed. Do you think I want to be like this? My mom had anxiety. My aunt, her sister has depression. My grandma had anxiety. All my cousins have it. Some of my cousins have been hospitalized for it. Yada, yada, yada. And I bought into it. That's the story I was told. That's what I grew up with. It's not true. It's not true. I said in another video, it's sometimes, and I'm quoting Eckhart Tolle, sometimes it seems that we're at the mercy of our mind rather than in charge of it. As a person with depression, I was letting my mind run the show like an out-of-control toddler who had no boundaries and no rules, just did whatever it wanted. When I learned that I am in control, I am driving that bus, I get to choose what I focus on, changed everything for me. So when that anxious feeling comes up and your heart's racing, I also learned what's happening in my body and my mind that triggers that. But it's a loop and it builds and it's seemingly unstoppable when a loop comes in, a negativity loop, you know, something horrible, like something awful that happened and it replays in your mind and it replays in your mind and it replays in your mind. And that seems out of your control. That is just a bad habit of thought. It absolutely is in your control. And I'll tell you what I did, not planned for this video, but here we are. Because if this will help you, then let's get to it. I wrote down on a piece of paper all things that make me happy, that make me smile, that make me feel good, that have no strings attached. And that's not always an easy list, because even things that make us happy have strings attached. For example, I love Oreo cookies. They make me smile. I love the taste of them. I was an Oreo kid. It's part of my childhood. I love the bag. I used to have an Oreo necklace that I wore all the time. I love Oreo cookies, but they come with strings because I'm in my late 50s and Oreo cookies go right to my ass, you know, so I don't, even though I love Oreo cookies, I can't have them all the time, so there's strings attached. On the other hand, I have a beautiful violet towny bicycle with a burly tail wagon for my dogs that I can hook up to it. And that whole thing makes my heart glad no matter what. Period, the end. There's no strings attached. I see my purple bike and it just makes my heart sing. I see that burly tail wagon, T-A-I-L, wagon, that's specifically built so I can take my dogs when I go on my bike rides. Always makes me happy. Always makes my heart glad. So I made a list of things that have no strings attached that always make me happy. My bike, the tail wagon, the color purple, sunlight dancing on water when sunlight sparkles on the lake. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. The sound of snow when you're standing outside at nighttime and it's snowing really big ho-ho flakes. There's a sound to it, at least for me, and that makes my heart glad. I love rainy days. I love thunderstorms, right? That kind of stuff. So when my anxious mind, when that little bastard 2-year-old out of control brat toddler mind of mine started, pardon me, fucking with me, I get out, literally physically get out that list, open it up. I kept it folded up in my pocket, in my phone, wherever it was. And when that crap started, that loop started in my mind, I'd pull out that piece of paper and I would just read it. Thunderstorms. I love thunderstorms. I love a good rainstorm. I love reading in the rain. I love writing books. I love collecting books. Violet, which is the name of my townie, and the tail wagon just make me happy. Puppies make me happy. Purring kittens. Oh, and I just read that and I would focus my mind I would take charge and I would shift the focus from that negative loop, from my high school sweetheart committing suicide, to things that I liked. You can't push that away. You can't argue with that. You have to shift the focus, because by arguing with it and trying to push it away, you're focusing on it. You have to just change your focus, and that's 100% in your control. It might not seem like it at first because you're so used to it, but you are in charge of it. Unless you have something like fetal alcohol syndrome that puts holes in your brain, unless you have some sort of honest to goodness brain sickness, which most of us don't. Most of us buy into the depression stuff, and it's such a crutch. It gets us out of so much. Oh, I can't go to that party because, my anxiety. It gets us out of a lot. So you have to, number one, be willing to let the story go. That's a big deal. Number two, you have to be willing to decide you're going to feel better. You're going to feel differently, at least. At first, sometimes just different is better. You can't go from feeling really, really, really bad to blissed out between now and tomorrow. But you can go from no hope, from hopelessness, no hope, doldrums, dark, dark place, to even anger is better. Get angry. Like, God bless it. Why aren't I doing blah, blah, blah? Anger is fine. Just don't get stuck there. Move that anger to frustration. And then from frustration to, well, I'm frustrated. What can I do about it? And just inch your way up from the shitter to feeling better. That's a lot about what this is about. You can't go from being 50 pounds overweight, eating crap, to eating clean today and being better tomorrow. Eating clean today, eating a little bit better today and a little bit better tomorrow, and keeping that up, you're going to inch up that scale. Plus, when people go from, especially weight-wise, when people go from overeating, eating crappy stuff, to only eating good stuff and losing weight fast and getting from where they are to 50 pounds less in 30 days, they always gain it back because the right stuff hasn't changed in between. And that's what we're talking about here, is trying to change the right stuff. So I would get out that thing, and I would shift my focus from the negative loop, whatever it was that was making me feel miserable and starting to trigger a panic attack, which is just like a domino effect. I'll put a link below in the description below of a book that helped immensely with my panic attacks and anxiety, because it explains exactly what's happening in your body and what you're doing to contribute to that, which I was doing everything wrong trying to prevent panic attacks. I was triggering them. Who knew? Once I learned that and changed the behavior, no more panic attacks. I'll talk at length about that in a different video or a workshop about going from agoraphobic to bring it on. Let's go. I went to Ireland by myself. The difference is night and day. And I want that for everyone who can have that. And you can have that no matter where you are or who you are or what happened yesterday or 20 fucking years ago. It doesn't matter. What happens, or what are you going to do about it from here forward? FROCUS. And a big part of that is positive journaling. So what do you do in your positive journal? What's going right now? You can list your things, your happy place things. What gives you the warm fuzzies? Do you love to watercolor paint? Do you love to look at illuminated calligraphy? Do you love to visit museums? What is it that makes your heart sing? Do you love to sing? Do you love to dance? Do you love to garden? Write about those things that you love, things that you want. And why you want those things, not just what you want. I want to have more money. Why? Well, so that I can retire my husband, so that I can build a new house, so that I can support the charities that I want. And if I support the charities that I want, how is that going to look, and what is that going to look like? Focus forward only on what you want. When you find out, sometimes as you're writing and you're in the zone and whatnot, sometimes that loop will come up, something negative will come up. I just cross it out or erase it and refocus. Focus forward only on what you want. Focus forward only on what you want. Focus forward only on what you want. And again, just as a reminder, I want to be healthy is what I want. I don't want to be sick anymore is not what I want, because the focus is being sick. We'll talk at length about that kind of stuff. But the language does matter because the focus is completely different. I want to be healthy versus I want to not be sick. The entire focus is on being sick. I'm ready for money to rain down on me from every direction. I love being rich is very different than I'm tired of being broke. Watch your language and FROCUS. And the rest of this whole book is all about that positive journaling. Fill up all your pages. And I will link this Feel Better Reboot kit. It's free. You do not have to be a patron to get it. You just have to go to my Patreon page where it will be waiting for you. I will link a video below on how to make this kind of covered composition book. I made this book before I designed the kit, or I would have used the kit. But I had already made this up and decided this was going to be my Feel Better Reboot, which I decided to share with you after I started my own. So that's why mine is different than what yours is going to look like. Tell me in the comments below, knee-jerk reaction, what do you think? What do you want to change? I'd love to know one part of your big dream. I want to be a famous chef, world-class dancer. And for you parents out there, what I see a lot in my work, I've done a lot of this kind of workshop offline. Before COVID, I did a lot of this stuff like with real people. So being online is a little bit different for me, so please bear with me. But what I have found with parents is, especially when their kids are little, I just want to be a good mom. I want to be the best mom, That's fine. You're supposed to. That's your job once you have kids, is to be the best mom or dad. That is your job, of course. But if you don't have something for you, I want to be a world-class chef. I want to travel. I want to take up running. I want to be a good woodworker. I want to learn the craft of calligraphy. You have to have something for you because your kids are only part of your life. They're only part of your life. A huge part, probably the most important part, at least when they're little. But they're going to grow up and they're going to leave. They're going to go off to school. They're going to go off to high school. They're going to hate you for 4 years while they're in high school, and you're not going to see them for a while. And then they're going to go ideally maybe to college or trade school or off to work, get their own place. You have to have something for you, or hoarding sets in, depression sets in, because you gave everything you had to the kids. That's not healthy for you or them. So in the comments below, tell me, I want to be something other than good mom, something other than good dad, because that's a given. I know that. Think of something just for you. We'll talk again soon. There'll be lots of videos coming your way. There'll be workshops coming on the Patreon page. All kinds of things are coming and happening. But let's start feeling better, little by little by little by little. Improve your sleep a little bit. Up your water intake a little bit. Focus on things you want. Take 2 minutes out of your day to just meditate. Just give your mind a rest for 2 minutes. Deep breathe first thing in the morning and the last thing before you go to bed, and watch how it improves your sleep a little bit, how it improves your focus a little bit. You got this. You got this. Here's to feeling better and working together through all of this. Until we meet again, you stay positively creative, because you, my friend, are worth it.